What's up, YouTube? I'm Brett from Rants. As always, guys, if y'all enjoy our content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. We're on the road to 1,000, and we hope you guys can help us get there. Alright, so you want to know the funny thing about Game of Thrones is just a few years ago, it was spoken like it was like this amazing, once-in-a-lifetime series. It had George R. R. Martin was already popular, but his fame shot to an astronomical level. And it's so weird to think about now, because now only thing that Game of Thrones is known for is memes, like making fun of the very show that people used to think was maybe one of the best cinematic series of all time. That's what Season 8 can do for you. So, Game of Thrones fans respond to anniversary tease with calls for Season 8 remake. You gotta love HBO. HBO, not only did they just completely and totally screw up the ending to what was otherwise a brilliant series. Then they start thinking, you know what? Now that 2 years have passed, maybe fans have forgotten about this. We're going to come out with a bunch of different shows that are going to take place in Westeros, and everything's going to be great. Fans are going to, subscribe to HBO, and it'll be just like Game of Thrones all over again. With Game of Thrones at its peak, all over again. 10 years have gone since season 1 of Game of Thrones, and while HBO is trying to celebrate it, fans are letting them know that 2 years maybe had passed, but we hadn't forgot. We never will. We'll still be pissed 10 years down the road when they're celebrating the 20th anniversary of this. We'll still feel like we were robbed of a brilliant ending, of just a decent ending. Before I go on into a rant on this, just let me read this. I think it's actually quite funny. I really do. I think this is one of the funniest things that I've read, because this is HBO just being blind to the simple fact of, you know what? We're not going to forget. Like you can sit there and try to feed us all this garbage, all these different series, all these different shows in Westeros. We're not going to buy into it anymore, because why would we trust you after you failed us consistently with Season 8? My opinion on that. As HBO begins its month-long celebration of Game of Thrones' 10th anniversary, fans are demanding for Season 8 to be remade. It's been almost 2 years since the fantastical series wrapped up its run, but instead of an ending fitting for one of the most successful shows of the decade, it was met with a divisive response from its most ardent followers. The lackluster ending was mostly blamed on how much of it was rushed. Game of Thrones' final season only had 6 episodes compared to the standard 10 outings. While it made up for it with 4 extended 80-minute runtimes, it still wasn't enough to properly tackle all the ongoing storylines. Aside from this, a lot of the creative decisions made were poorly received, particularly having Bran the Broken as the ultimate ruler of Westeros. Meanwhile, Daenerys, who was once perceived as the true lead of the show, died at the hands of Jon Snow following her ruthless burning of King's Landing in the penultimate episode. It was supposed to harken back to her connection to the Mad King, but the series of twists were so badly executed that it didn't resonate with viewers. Now HBO attempts to revive the hype surrounding Game of Thrones through a Twitter post that reads, "Winter is coming," a reference to the most popular tagline from the show in the George R. R. Martin books that it's based on. But instead of an excited fan base, people responded with demands to remake the disappointing season 8. Here's just some of the replies. It says Game of Thrones HBO states winter is coming, and then this user says not unless you fix making Daenerys a mass murderer, fix Jon's parentage not even mattering, fix how winter came and it was over in 2 seconds, fix Cersei's lame love swoony death. Jamie and Brienne, my God, what were you thinking? Oh, and Tyrion should have rid the dragon. Uh, and it goes on to say, other fun points to fix. Not making Arya the Punisher for no reason. Maybe don't rewrite Stannis' character to be a complete ass. Why the hell did they fix the Dorne plotline by killing the Martells and leaving Sand Snakes alive? Littlefinger and Varys should keep their brains. Never before have I seen a series nosedive so hard and be abandoned by its fans and viewers. I'm currently rewatching the show and it physically hurts to know how unrewarding the finale is. If y'all can revive the franchise, it would be a miracle. This person just says season 8 remake. Winter was coming for 7 effing years and then disappeared in 15 minutes. Nobody effing cares anymore. If you can give Zack Snyder $100 million for Justice League, you can remake season 8. Okay, that one to me is so true, because if you remember, HBO was always talking about, oh man, these dragons are costing us so much money. We're just, the budget of this is just too much. So we're going to have to shorten the seasons. We're going to have to do all of this other stuff because we just don't have the budget for it. What did they do a few years later? House of the Dragon. What is it about? More dragons. Not just 3 dragons, but like a whole list of dragons. I mean a show basically based around dragons. So what is the difference between now and then? Makes no sense to me. Always will puzzle me. Puzzled me then. Didn't understand it. I'm like, how do you have the most amazing show of basically the 21st century and you're complaining about the budget? You're having to cut down on episodes because of the budget. If the dragons were that flippin' big of a deal for you to just don't show them. I mean, the show would have been fine even without the dragons. Look, I get it. There was a lot of people that liked the dragons, but you know what? Who they like better? Daenerys. You could have shown more Daenerys, less of the dragons, and you know what? You could have had 10 episodes a season. Drives me crazy, but this user really is onto something when she's talking about how HBO gave Zack Snyder $100 million for Justice League remake. And what did yet that's all they cared about during this show was the budget with Game of Thrones. Even though it was a bigger hit than what even Zack Snyder's Snyder Cut could have ever been for them. It's so true. You know, even if, let's just say, Zack Snyder, the Snyder Cut coming out was a win for fans. It was a win for fans because it allowed them to speak their mind, to basically bring something into fruition that normally wouldn't even see the light of day. So if fans can get the flippin' Snyder Cut, how the heck can they not get a new season 8. You really, I mean, if you were HBO and you were thinking to yourself, you know what? I'm going to create all these spin-off series off of Game of Thrones. Ones that, even ones that date back before it, and ones that's, about 15 or 20 years right before it. Or I should say 80 years before it. You're going to have all of these different shows that's going to come about it. If you really wanted any of these shows to be successful, if you really wanted a surefire way to make these shows successful, you would create another season 8. You would create another season 8. Now, I'm not one to necessarily believe that if you created another season 8, and even it was the most brilliant thing in the world, season 7 was not that good, guys. Season 7 was not that good. You would have to go back and, I think, fix those at least last 2 seasons, especially with, you take Tyrion, for instance. I mean, everybody wants to talk about Daenerys, but what about Tyrion? I mean, went from the smartest guy in Westeros to the biggest idiot in the entire show. Nothing he said made any sense. Nothing. Everything he did wrong those last 2 seasons, when his character was literally based off of being someone that didn't have the ability or the capability to fail. Because if he failed, then that means that he would have been useless as basically a person on the show. So he knew that as someone that was, you want to go into the character of the show, he knew that if he wasn't the smartest guy out there, that he was useless. So the idea that you made him the dumbest person in the show just ruins that character altogether. And of course, you got that whole Daenerys thing. I see it both ways with Daenerys. I see it that Daenerys, that I do believe that there was some hints that she was going in that direction. I'm not going to say it was just all of a sudden on season 8 they just completely, flipped a switch and she turned into a Mad Queen. It wasn't necessarily that way. There was some build up to it. Does that mean I like the decision that they made with it? No, I didn't like the decision. It didn't make any sense. Like nothing about her doing what she did made any sense whatsoever. Fans that were for her, fans that didn't really like her that much, which I was one of those. Not really a big Daenerys fan, but I still hated it. I mean, because it didn't fit the character. It didn't fit what the character was supposed to be. Then you're going to bring Jon Snow back. You're going to talk about his heritage. For all of these 7 seasons, all this lead up to that. And then season 8 comes around and you're just going to throw that junk in the garbage. And then have him die, come back, just so that he can go back to the wall again. Are you kidding me? Like, that's somehow that bittersweet ending? No, that's just a really sucky, lame ending. And that's not even original. That's just lame all the way around. I mean, so many things went wrong in season 8. But I'm like, you know what? I agree with this person completely and totally. HBO is so full of crap. So full of crap. When they go and they state these dumb statements about how, oh, well, we could only have this many episodes because of budget, blah, 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 time, all of that. The truth is you had 2 showrunners that didn't want to be there. You had 2 showrunners that believed that they had created cinematic gold and that they would live off that cinematic gold even if they cashed it in a season too soon. You had arrogance that played a role in the downfall of Game of Thrones. Period. That's the reason why Game of Thrones failed. Is because you had two guys that were like the captains on the Titanic who believed that didn't matter what was in front of them or what happened, that ship wasn't going to sink. Anything will sink. You know, that's the crazy part of that show. And HBO never wants to admit it. If I was HBO, I would hate D&D. Hate them with a passion. I would have replaced them. If they didn't want to be there, then replace them with someone that did. We could have, like George R.R. Martin said, well, they could have gone another 3 seasons, or so with this. Like, there was no reason to rush this series. There just wasn't. But HBO had all this in mind. Well, they were kind of like D&D in that way. They were like, well, we'll hurry up and get this one over so that we can create like 10 spinoffs. Well, how did that work out for you? Not so well. Now they're trying to do it, trying to celebrate 10th season of this, or 10th year of Game of Thrones. And fans, don't forget, winter is coming for you, HBO. If you think for even 1 second that fans are going to forget this, any of your new shows that you put out, that's all you're going to hear is Season 8, Season 8, Season 8. Nothing's going to change it. Doesn't matter how brilliant the next thing is. Fans are either not going to tune out. Those that have tuned in are going to just be more pissed because they're going to be like, you know what? This is a brilliant show. Imagine what Season 8 could have done. Imagine what you took from us, HBO. Imagine what D&D took from us. Something that really, a show that really we should be able to rewatch over and over and over again. But yet most of us can't even stand to even watch it again because we know how terrible the ending was at the end. Blows my mind. That's my rant of the day here on Rants or Us. So, you know what? I'm glad this channel is called Rants or Us because, you know what? Every now and then when it comes to a Game of Thrones topic, I have to rant. So, it's very fitting. But as always, guys, let me know what y'all think. Let me know if y'all think this is as funny as what I think it is. Because I think HBO gets exactly what they deserve. I do. I think HBO gets exactly what they deserve. I'm glad fans have not forgot this. And I'm glad that fans will probably never forget this. Even though I love the world of Westeros, I don't know if I'm that excited about going back to it. You got to prove me wrong at this point, HBO. If you're going to put me back in that world and expect me to believe that you're going to finish the job on it. Because if you get to like season 4 or season 5 of a show that I'm loving, and then you're like, well, we're going to cut it down from like 10 episodes to like 6 episodes, and then we're going to, divert expectations and all that BS, then yeah, I don't want no part of you. Don't want no part of that show. So yeah, that's how I feel towards it. But guys, as always, thanks for watching. Y'all